Hey guys, so we are talking strongman with JF Caron. It's been a while, buddy. How's things with you?
It's a long time ago. I think we talked together one year ago, just after my accident. But now I'm back to full training, and it's doing really well.
You training hard?
Yes, of course.
Of course. Does this
Yeah,
mean we're going to see JF Caron back in competition?
yeah. I plan to do it maybe at the end of the season. Maybe not at the highest level, but because at the moment I can lift heavy. I have no problem with that. The problem is move fast.
Sure.
I need more time. To recover. To start to run again and do many explosive movement, like the changing direction. Is I'm not safe like before, and I don't think it will became like it was before. Also, still it was big surgery, but I have big expectation about that. I'm thinking I can compete by October, maybe. It's just because this summer we have many competition here in Canada. I have already 9 events booked. For the summer, we are really busy to organize it and no time to prepare for contest. But I plan to maybe start like October, November, something like this.
So right now, training wise, just focusing on gym strength.
Yeah, yeah. I just training in the gym, but I think after World's Strongest Man, when Gabriel will come back from that, I will restart to train with him the event slowly and try to not learning again, but you had to lift stones and moving some yoke and heavy farmers, before starting competing.
Yeah. So what kind of numbers are you lifting in the gym right now?
Yeah, I hit 400 kilo deadlift like 1 month ago. Deadlift, it's easy right now. For it's not super hard for the gym. Maximum weight I put on squat is 270 at the moment for repetition. But the power is there. It's not like fluid like before.
Yeah.
On video it's looking like before, but I don't feel it like before.
You think it's not been a long time to come back from such a crazy injury to be lifting
Yeah,
those numbers already it shows
yeah,
what
but
an incredible athlete you are.
yeah, but I trained since a long time already, to bring back that number. But I think the hardest thing will be to, example, adding leg drive to my lift.
Yeah.
Jumping, is all explosive movement will take more time. Is just what I mean. But for lifting heavy, my press is the same than it was. My deadlift is really close, and I'm not pushing super hard in training right now.
Yeah.
But if I really had to do, I can pull 900 any days. I think.
So JF is definitely looking at coming back to the top level.
I hope. I will do the work for it, but
Yeah.
we'll see if the body will follow.
Okay, that obviously, but in your head, what kind of competitions do you want to be competing in?
Yeah, I would maybe try to start at the Magnus Classic in
Okay.
October because it's a little bit earlier this year. Uh, of course, it's not the biggest level of contest, but I think to restart, it must be enough for me. I think, and it's also a good opportunity for me because I never been in Iceland. I
Oh,
never
cool.
had this chance during my career, and with this opportunity, I think it's a good idea to prepare for that. And I know if I really prepare for it, I have good chance, to be in the top spot. After that, Dinas Zagiris organized a meet also in Latvia during that time. I think it's middle of October. He asked me to participate, and I put in. And I plan to do the Masters at Official Strongman Games in December.
So we're going to compete against each other.
Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. That would be cool. I look forward to that, man. That'll be good.
yeah, it will be
I'm kind
fun.
of, I'm kind of happy and also devastated that you're going to compete in that as well. But it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's. I think it's more for just seeing friends and more for that and the fun, than the result itself. It's not
Yeah,
super important at
that'll be cool. It'd be good to compete with you again.
yeah. Having fun one more time.
There we go. JF Caron and myself battling again this year. That'll be good. Although I'm gutted that you're doing it. That's
Igzy will have big like
opposition this year. He's not going to have it
he
all his own way.
Yeah, he will have to fight this year.
He's going to have to work for sure. Awesome. Well, I know you've got a busy year with competitions in Canada that you're organising. What have you got going on at the moment in Canada?
We have, July and June is already full. Each weekend we have a Strongman circuit show. Biggest contest for this year about international will be Victoriaville. It's the old example of Warwick. You remember the Arnold in Canada and Warwick. It's just the city beside. It's just because he moved from city to another. Victoriaville is much bigger, like 30,000 people living there. And we restart this year after like 3 years of pause because the COVID, restarting with a North American championship. In middle of July is the 15 and 16 of July this year. And I have already been named, singing like Trey Mitchell, Bobby Thompson, Kevin Ferris, Rob Kearney. Then we have also the Hatch brother coming, and the all best Canadian from last year's CSM, like top 6. Then they will battle for the North American Championship title. It would be great, to have the competition back there, in Victoriaville. It was already the biggest contest in Canada since many years. Big crowd, we have over 10,000, in 2019 when I won the last edition. A crowd over 10,000 is quite impressive to see and compete in front of that. Definitely. It's why the guys want to come back, because Trey, Bobby, and Kevin, Rob already compete in the past in few editions of that Arnold Classic in Canada, and they love it. It is a really good organization, and really, really proud, it bring back and bringing something international in Canada for this year.
The North American Championships needs to be a big deal as well. You've got so many great athletes at the moment in Canada, in the States.
Yeah.
It's a big opportunity. Are fans going to be able to watch it? Like, is it going to be on TV? Is it going to be live streamed?
Yeah, it will be broadcast for TV for Canada, and it will be live streamed also during the competition. It's the most important thing. But they decide to start because it's expensive also to put on TV. But we make the choice to go forward to it and have maybe put the money to have something bigger, to restart. And we don't start with international. I think the level is really hard right now in North America. Yeah. We have a lot of great athletes, and it will be great also for few Canadian athletes, not well known, but I know they have the international level already. I think at the moment we have like 7 or 8 guys in Canada can compete in international level.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good. It's why I'm a little bit disappointed we have just 2 Canadians this year in World's Strongest Man. I told you yesterday, because Maxime was out. He was replaced by an athlete by another nation. But we have many guys here, have the potential to reach the final, not just participate.
Hopefully, though, you putting on the competition like the North American Championships can give these guys an opportunity, because I think that's the situation we're in right now. We need to see these big shows, and they need to be like globally watched, so people can see and think, okay, these guys are competing against the likes of Trey, the likes of Bobby, the likes of Kevin, and if they're beating those guys, people are going to take notice.
Yeah, true. And also, I think what the official Strongman games do, give this opportunity also, and the Open Shot Classic also give the chance to those guys, not super well known, have a chance to put number in, qualify, and compete and prove themselves. And I'm sure, like last year I watched in the Shot Classic Open, I think maybe few guys competing in the Open are the same level or maybe better than few guys in the real Shot Classic itself.
I saw that in the final of the OSG in November. The top 10 there were all fantastic, and obviously Thomas Evans, who won the Shaw Classic last year, he also won the Arnold Amateurs. He just came 5th at the Arnolds. Was it 5th or 6th?
Something 5th.
5th, yeah. Which is you've got to be good to be top 5 at the Arnolds.
Yeah, it was, in my opinion, the most impressive guy there in the Arnold. He really impressed me. Making top 5 in Arnold is not super easy.
No.
Then he was really good prepared, and it's just the guy have the level, and now I think is going to World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, I think at the moment he's a reserve for Worlds, so there's a chance that he'll get in to compete.
Yeah, but still, just put your name there. He will prove it. Maybe if you don't have the chance to compete, but next year he will be re-invited. and give the chance to this guy. But right now, level is much higher in our sport, I think. We have just more guys who have the
I
level.
think
Just sometimes we don't know them. That's it. Like Mitchell Huber. Mitchell Hooper came from almost nowhere,
yeah.
because he was stuck in Australia during the pandemic, and arrived, and he is already top 3 in the world in every contest right now.
Yeah,
In
he's
new
been a
sport.
revelation since last year's World's Strongest Man.
Yeah,
And like you say, there's a lot of great athletes out there that we're not getting the opportunity to see.
yeah, and I think you have other guys like that on the planet, in my opinion. You just give him the chance,
How do you think that we can change this thing? Because at the moment, I mean, you know, the US and the UK get more athletes than any other country, and
Yeah.
they send good guys because the countries are popular for strongman. But you and me both know from competing and traveling all over how many great athletes there are out there in different regions. So how can these guys get noticed more? And do you think maybe the big nations like the US, the UK should be limited to a certain amount of athletes?
I would not say that, because I know also, TV's producer of that show, but I will say, the guys have to show up in OSG. I think is the most important thing, because look at that this year, top 3 from OSG isn't World's Strongest Man this year.
Yeah.
Then you
That's
have to show up. Of
that's
course, if
the
you're good and you stay at home and you don't try to qualify in those shows, it's not the best manner, to came. No, then you have to, try to qualify, compete, show yourself. It's working like that, but it will be always in a way. I think invitation competition, if we're talking about World's Strongest Man. But I think OSG and World's Strongest Man are working great right now. We see new guys there, but you have to show up. Is the most important thing. I will say many guys don't try, and after they complain, but you have to go there and compete. You have
I
to
totally
try it.
agree. Anyone that's watching this or that talks to me or kind of probably talks to you as well, my advice to them is go and qualify for OSG,
Yeah,
because that's where they're looking now for the new guys. Okay, they'll look at the better established guys will go to the Giants live shows and things. But if you're new and you haven't been to that level, or even if you've been to Worlds before and you didn't do well and you want to get that chance again, get into
yeah,
OSG and prove that you are good enough. They'll invite you back.
yeah. True. It's working like that, and not just focusing on one show. You have to show up everywhere you can.
Yeah.
In my opinion, then this guy again is good. You will deserve. You make your place also in strongman. I did the same. You have to do it. If you wait, it will happen. Maybe never.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you
how many international shows have you done?
I don't know, over 100 for sure.
Yeah. Like,
I
you know,
think it's
both,
120 or something like this.
and you've won a number of shows, you've been on podiums. Some competitions, they don't go well as well. Sometimes you do badly, but you learn from the experience, come back, and over time, you've proven that you get to that point where you can't be ignored.
Yeah, true. You have to prove to the main organizer of the biggest show, you're a serious athlete, you train hard, you put performance in. In my opinion, sometimes maybe it's happening, but it's not about following and popularity. But anyway, if you're really popular and they invite you, if you're not good enough, he will just invite you one time.
Yeah.
It's also true. Then you have to put the work, and the opportunity will happen for sure. It's my
Yeah.
opinion.
So we're talking about World's Strongest Man. The 30 athletes have been announced. What are your thoughts? I think it looks like a great lineup from what I've seen,
Yep.
and I think it's going to be a tough competition this year. What do you think?
I think it's an interesting event this year because you have something new and more, maybe more cardio. You have single fingers, going on wheels, shield carry. I think it's very good events for Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if it's really good prepared, it's maybe his chance to win his 5th title. And many guys are really good now and very athletic. Then I would say favorite for that will be Tom and Mitchell and Brian for top
Tom Mitchell,
3.
Brian. Yeah.
It will be my pick. I think Novikov will be maybe really dangerous, but I don't think single finger will be the best event for him. It's also physical. It's shorter than the other one, but he's always there, and good prepared. We'll see what he can prove. And Pavlo really impressed me this weekend, in
Yeah.
Europe's Strongest Man. He's quick, he's athletic. I think I don't think for the future the goal for the athlete will be not to become like very big, 400-pound plus.
Yeah.
Now you need to be very athletic. And it's why I think that guys like Pavlo and Mitchell have big result at the moment. It's like in the past we don't have very athletic guys like that.
It sort of goes in kind of waves because you had like Mariusz Pudzianowski, who was unbelievably fit, and some of the guys even before him. And then it started to go down the kind of heavier, more static competitions. Now it's still heavy, but they've brought that athletic element back as well.
Yeah, but now it's a lot heavier also. But the guy have a good brute strength combined.
Yeah. So
I
now
don't
it's not
think Mariusz can win World's Strongest Man this year at his best shape.
no, the guys
Now
are
it's
too
too
strong.
early. Yeah. But now it is the best package. The guy very athletic becomes transport. Level is very high. Yeah. It's very impressive to watch. And I also thinking it will be better to stop right now. But it's also motivating me. To see
These young guys, man, they're getting strong.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that you want to step back in there. And you were unlucky to go out in the way that you did at the Arnold's last year because you were looking in great shape.
Yeah, honestly, I think I wasn't at my best.
Yeah,
Almost my best shape ever at 39. Then it's why I think I have something to prove again. I don't know, but I love it also. I just do it. Now the focus is not the same. Before I just want to win, and try to do my best. But now it's more for having fun, and looking everybody going to compete and you stay at home alone. It's a little bit sad sometimes, and I just want to be part of it a few times again.
how was it watching the Arnold's this year?
It was a great contest, but honestly, I was much impressed by the women competition.
Oh, they were amazing, weren't they?
Yeah, it's crazy the level they reached this year. It was also looked like it was more competitive, because the guys were big difference of point, and he missed many big names also. Lichis, Novikov not there, Brian's out, and I think the Stockman also was not very good prepared for that show. It's a very big difference because if you bring Tom there, like it was last year in World's Strongest Man, you have a very good chance to win. It is also different because those two guys may be not at their best, but I think they will be better a lot in World's Strongest Man. But the woman really impressed me. I think Andrea and Victoria have maybe 700-pound deadlift in the tank on that.
They both looked unbelievable. And I would have liked that rather than just the 3 lifts, I would have liked them to just push and see what they could have done. It would have been really good.
Crazy. Then it's why I don't have choice to train and pull 900, minimum.
Well, you've pulled on that bar before, and I was talking to Jerry Pritchett about it as well. And both of you have pulled more than the winning pull from this year.
Yeah, true. 2018, Jerry pulled, I don't remember how, but like 1,000 or very, very close and finished fourth.
Yeah.
More than everybody this year. And this year they were briefs.
Yes. Yeah.
And I will say I'm not agree about this point because when Thor beat the record, he don't wear.
Yeah.
Then it's not fair, I will say. But I don't know why he put this in the show this year, but maybe to put better performance. But still, you cannot compare.
I think that's important when we're kind of looking at records. Everything needs to be done the same way. There's so many deadlift records now, and they use different bars, and it's almost complicated to keep up with it. Yeah. It's why I kind of like just watching a competition rather than the record and just seeing who lifts the most on that day. It's more fun for me anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know what he put that, but you fight always for record, and I think it's just not fair, to wearing that. But still, it was very impressive lift, from the woman. You know, the guys were also great lift, but nothing super impressive in my opinion.
Sure.
You know, the guys just put the work. And I was, you know, in my mind, Pablo was the guy on that day to win it easy. And he really disappointed me. I don't know if it's because he was injured or something, but still, you know, he put big number in competition, and he also do same in Manchester. I remember it was aiming for 500 and finally struggling with 1,000.
Yeah.
Then I don't understand. You know,
I mean, to be fair to him, he said it took 3 days of travel to get there. So I don't know how that affected him. And he's a massive, massive man. But yeah, right now, we haven't seen the best of him, I think. He's capable of more, definitely.
Oh,
Have
yes.
you ever been in that position where you're competing and you just warm-ups don't feel good? So you've got to adapt rather than just, I think sometimes he's so young and he's like, I'm just going to lift this. I think someone like yourself or me, we would have just dropped our openers a little bit to get a safe lift in if you know that those warm-ups aren't going how they normally do.
Yeah, and you do the warm up before you know exactly what you will pull.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, not failing your first attempt.
Yeah, of course.
It,
I mean, he's an exciting prospect. There's so much power there. He's built like a tank. And I've seen him do some incredible deadlift, you know, results in terms of the Rogue Invitational. He was unbelievable. The Giants Live World Tour Finals, his deadlifting for reps was unbelievable. He's got the power there. So just a bit more experience, maybe an understanding how to peak at the right time.
yeah, and I think maybe a better coaching. I think he's not preparing each event properly. Is what is it's just a big, strong guy, you know, with very big potential. I think he have better potential than almost everybody right now because he have the size and the genetic. He have just to practice, example, yoke, practicing his frame carry, you know, improving his grip, and the moving is not super fluid, you know, maybe tight a little bit. But he will be very dangerous if you do that work, you know, in 1-2 years. You know, he's a contender for the title, you know, of course.
Do you think we could see 3 Ukrainian athletes in the top 5 at Worlds?
It is very possible. It is very possible. I think with what Pavlo put, I will talk about Kordiaka, the result he put in Europe's Strongest Man. If he reached the final, and he looked better on stones, but you know it's not the hardest stones in Giants Live show. It is
no, but if you think of World's Strongest Man last year, he lost out on the stones, but he lost to Max.
Yeah,
Maxim's an amazing stone lifter, as you know.
Then I think first will be to make the final. You know, it's the hardest thing. You know, but in final, you have the potential for top 5 for sure.
Have you seen the events for Worlds?
Yeah.
So the events in the heats really suit Kordiaka. Pavlo Kordiaka, I think, in the heats could potentially beat anyone. The final
group, I think.
Yeah, the final maybe not.
The deadlift is not good for him.
Yeah, the deadlift is the only weakness, really. Every other event, I mean, he just broke the world record for Giants Live's Conan Circle. He's great at the log medley, the log ladder. He's great at throwing. He's great at loading. So I think if he's not one, I know World's Strongest Man say they don't seed, but
it's depending. Depending the group. If you take the same group than Tom, oh fuck, it's hard to win. You know.
Yeah.
And it's depending who is in the group. Also, you know, we never know until the group will be released. But the power is there, true. Because it's interesting to think about that sometimes. If maybe you put this guy in another group, you go to final, maybe the guy can finish on podium. But finally, he missed the final.
Well, we saw one year, I think, Zadrunas and Brian were in the same group.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare for anyone else in that group.
Yeah, true. It's true. You know,
it could happen at this contest.
Yeah.
You know, last year we had Mitch Hooper and Brian Shaw in the same group.
It's why it's not my favorite setup, you know, of Strongman contest. And we talked already in the past about that. Maybe putting the 30 guys together and fight until the end. It will be more interesting. But you know, the Ukrainian, you know, provide really good. Really good athlete right now, and I think the guy has something to prove, and they want to show. You know, it's not because we have some problem in political in our country. They put the performance, and they are really impressive. You know, training in that situation. You know, we have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Because nobody lived this, just those guys do it. And I think seeing your friends, your family maybe fighting, for life, for sure, you have just to train, then maybe you give more effort. For sure, you're maybe lucky to be an athlete in Ukraine right now, but it's
Yeah.
also great for this nation and supporting.
I think it puts things in perspective as well. You think what's going on out there. They have a different motivation to maybe some other people around the world, and you can see how important it is to them. And they fight hard all the time,
Yeah.
every event. It's
Yeah, it's never, all Eastern European countries almost same, everybody is always serious contender and they will not give up, never.
so there's a new Canadian in town at the moment that I don't have you met Mitch Hooper before?
Never in person, no.
It's crazy to think you've been like the dominant Canadian athlete for a good few years now. You get injured, and this guy's been living in Australia, and he comes to World's Strongest Man. He's been incredible. What do you think of Mitch?
Oh, I think if somebody can win the World's Strongest Man title, it's maybe him. We have a total package right now. And, right now Maxim's injured and don't have a chance this year. But, Mitchell is maybe one of the most complete athletes we have. Almost no weaknesses. Just, the only maybe weaknesses he have is just about experience.
Yeah.
It's not about skills. Then you have more skills than almost everybody. I will compare this guy to Lichis maybe.
Yeah.
Then he have a really good chance. I was not surprised he win the honor. I say to everybody, if you don't do mistake, he will win easy. It's easy to say because I know also Mateus was not in the best shape, and still with the deadlift on 5 events, he killed him. Is always in the last spot on that event. But
I think a lot of his main opposition there had at least one weak event. Like Trey had the grip event, the frame.
same. Everybody have a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
But not Mitchell. Then I was not surprised. Finally, he win that contest quite easy. You don't need to push really to maximum, but I know he worked hard on his log lift, and now is one of the best in log. And I think the log ladder will be nothing for him right now. Is a very good level. No problem for 200 kilo at the moment. And it may be the only point he have to improve more, and now it's done. Then he's okay. He just continue to push and try to win the event. That's why you have good chance for podium, World's Strongest Man. But it will be great because if you reach the podium, it will be like 3 podiums since 2020 for our country. And I'm really proud of that and very happy to see you are more guys showing up, and few guys in Canada also are really solid. With the competition coming, I think we will see new Canadian on the international scene very soon.
It's great to hear. I mean, for a long time it was just Hugo Girard, and then it was just you, and now we're seeing a lot of Canadians. I mean, that regularly make the final as well, not just go to Worlds, but they go there and they make the final. So was it?
Yeah. It's Gabriel.
Last year there was 2 guys in the final.
3. It's why I'm disappointed. Last year, Mitchell Hooper, Gabriel, and Maxime was in final. Right. And now this year we have just 2 athletes. But last year, I talked to Colin, and I don't really give him a choice because I was injured. And I said to him, Gabriel is Canada's strongest man right now. He deserves to replace me. And he take it, and he made the final.
Yeah, he'd made the final first time.
And it's proving every guys are really solid.
Is he looking good for this year? Because I haven't seen or heard much of Gabriel. He's quite quiet on social media. He's not done too many.
Quiet, but he train already hard. He's at the gym every evening. Training the events at my home every weekend.
So you've got the insight as to how good he's looking.
Yeah, that he will be strong and always dangerous. When you have a guy well round like him, not the strongest on something, but very good at everything and excellent in stones. And World's Strongest Man, you always have a chance.
Yeah, World's Strongest Man really favors if you're very good at stones. It's a big advantage.
It's why last year I was not surprised. You have to finish top 3.
Yeah.
Third, you have to fight on stones against Gibbon. And I was sure he will beat him in stones. Because it's good even. He trained stones with me since he was 15 years old.
How old is he now? He's quite young still, isn't he?
He's just turned 26.
Okay, so he must be like the second youngest guy competing, I think, at
Yeah,
Worlds,
yeah, yeah.
isn't
Then very, very, very young, and they have the genetic of a real strongman. And he trained really serious since years, and he have to train his stone with me during 10 years. No tacky. We do these stones like -20 in winter. Doesn't matter. You lift, and
he?
he deserves. It's you need this background, to be a world class lifter in this scene, and he proved it.
I love this. I love this because some people sometimes you coach people and they'll make excuses for there's bad weather or they're not feeling it, and you don't care about that stuff. You just
Yeah,
doesn't matter what the weather is. You're out there training, working hard,
yeah. But
competing.
those twins and his brother is same. They never complain. They
Yeah,
just say nothing. Okay, you do it. They do. No question. Nothing.
it's a great attitude.
Very simple. But after 10 years of training, he's top 10 in the world at least one time at the moment. Then I think it is a good manner to learn. Maybe it's not the easiest manner, but at the end you get the paid for that.
Training with JF is not easy, but it works.
No, I don't think it's super funny.
Do you just kind of sit inside now watching and let him do the stunts?
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. So another thing I wanted to speak to you about is Thor. Thor has been powerlifting again. I don't know if you've seen much of what he's doing. He's
Yep.
chasing the world record. I've been blown away by how quickly his strength is coming back. Do you reckon this is a realistic challenge he set himself? Can he break the world record? And what do you think about him coming back to Strongman next year?
I think he have chance for breaking the world record because he's not bench press specialist, but he can lift a very big deadlift. Then he would compensate for that. And squat is very good lift for Thor, and it's coming quick. But when you have a bigger genetic like him, it's already easier for Thor. And if he came back in Strongman, in my opinion, he can win again.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the strongest guy ever on one day was Thor in his last Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
I think in 2020, just a little bit later after that, he pulled 501 deadlift. And it wasn't super hard, not a real maximum. On that day, I also remember in Arnold Classic pressing like a 315, 320 dumbbell. Then I think at this moment, he was maybe the strongest guys we ever seen on the planet, with the lift and deadlift. And I think 1026 on deadlift like nothing on the elephant on that day also.
Yeah.
If he came back to that level, he will finish first again, in my opinion.
I agree. Like originally when he started saying he's coming back, I wasn't sure how committed he was, whether he was, there was talk of him keeping his body weight down and focusing on being healthy. I think he's just decided I'm going to go for this. And
I think
when
if
Thor
you really want to win, he will.
yeah, I'm actually more excited about him coming back to Strongman than the powerlifting. I think the powerlifting will be close. It's still a big ask because, like you say, the bench press and the squat is not as good as Dan Bell, but the deadlift should be good. And the speed that he's progressing at is just, I've been blown away. I didn't expect him to be as strong as this quickly.
Yeah, he's changing every week almost right now.
Yeah, and I think his ability for strongman is so much more natural for him. I don't think he's actually got to push so hard to be
Of
an
course, I
incredible.
think he have a bigger work to try to win powerlifting, to try to win in strongman again. Strongman is easier for him for sure.
Definitely.
You have the size, you have the genetics, you have the abilities also. You have much more experience in strongman. It's why. Yeah, but if the people think it will be not a tough guy to beat, they have the chance to try. I think he will came for it.
If he can break the all-time powerlifting record, do you think that makes him the greatest strength athlete of all time? I'm not talking about strongman, but someone that's able to do everything. It certainly, in my opinion, puts him in contention for an argument.
Yes, it's a good argument because if you beat or just be close to that world record in powerlifting, and also have big win like Arnold Classic and World Strongest Man title, just Bill Kazmaier do it before.
Yeah.
but still it was lower number, in powerlifting. Then you can compare if you want, but of course is one of the best, and everybody knows.
Yeah. It's
Maybe you
quite.
don't have enough title like Brian. Of course, Brian was more consistent. Maybe, in strongman competition, you have more title than Thor. But Thor, at the end of his career, was really, really strong.
Yeah.
You you,
Well,
you cannot argument about that.
no.
In my opinion, it was maybe the best package of strongman. Example, if you ask me, okay, you have one trick, you can choose what shape you want and what power. I will choose this guy.
Yeah.
That's simple.
There's really, we say his bench is a weakness, but it's not really, like, compared to a normal person. It's still pretty good. And yeah, his ability to kind of lift stones, to move with weights, to squat, deadlift, just unbelievable. And you look at the results that he said, he won every single major competition.
Yeah,
Just not the consistency maybe of Zadrunas and Brian, who were 100% committed to strongman for a long period of time.
yeah, true. But it's depending maybe of preparation. Also, it was a different era. Brian also competed a lot. He was better earlier than Thor. I would say he's older, but Thor's still young. He's not super old.
Yeah.
He have the time to beat it. We'll see if he really want, to win again. It's depending what he really wants. But he have the potential to do it, and everybody knows. That when you have the genetic like Brian Shaw or Thor, you have a big advantage, and we see those guys competing, and you exactly know on some event you have no chance.
Yeah.
You can train like hell, like you want, but those guys will beat you. Example, on a tire flip, those guys are 6'8", 6'9". It's much easier for them,
I remember going to train with Thor, and just one thing that just kind of, it wouldn't have mattered how long I trained for it or what I did. We did dragging,
Yeah,
and just dragging a sled. There's no way I would ever be as good as him, no matter how much time I spent training it. He just pulled it like it was nothing.
yeah,
It's just incredible genetics for certain things. It's exciting to see him coming back. I think we've got Lissis back next year, yourself. There could be some interesting
right.
battles with some of these younger guys as well.
Yeah, yeah. I will try, but it will be really interesting. And if he's really prepared, and Lynch just came back really prepared, it will be a very interesting contest to put in place. It was not super easy for the other guys, to climb on the podium.
Yeah.
It's always hard to beat Thor in the contest. I remember because I just beat him one time. It was when he started 2011, and I beat him in Champions League in Canada. He came fifth, but Thor was not super experienced in that moment. But everybody knows it. I remember old guy like Erwin, and I think Travis. Also, we're talking intent. This guy will just destroy us in next year.
You could just see the potential, couldn't you? You kind of
And
like looking and thinking he wasn't quite there yet, but yeah, the progress was unbelievable.
yeah, just learning a little bit more, and you just go through it. It's easier. Those guys are built for that.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's
So,
very simple.
talking about one of his biggest rivals there, Brian Shaw, his last World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
If he wins 5, is he the greatest strongman of all time?
Yes.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I think because at 40 years old, if you win it, I know it's good. He have his chance. Brian have always a chance to win in
Absolutely.
any contest. I would say yes. It is the best because he win the Arm Classic title also. He beat many records. And is maybe one of the most impressive guy to train with. His grip strength is just another level. He can, he proved it in the past. His build for that is very good athletes. And if you give a fifth title, if you compare to Marius, of course, it is much better.
And
Because Marius,
I think he's genuinely got a chance with these events this year.
yes, you have a chance. It's what I said. It's what I said, and I would say yes, but we can debate about that. Oh no, maybe Zidronas was better.
Yeah, but I think the exciting thing for this year is there's like 5 or 6 guys that could potentially win this competition, which isn't
Yeah.
always, normally there's 2 guys that are the heavy favorite or something like that. I think it's one of the most open competitions we've had in a long time.
Yeah, true. But I will say, if everybody's in the best shape, I think Tom is maybe the best with those events. It's even for tall guys. But in fact, starting, he will win the stones at the end.
Yeah.
But it's when you start the final with first win in your pocket, it's a little bit easier. Finger must be great for Tom also. Is very tall.
I
Carrying stuff is always very good.
mm,
And I don't think Brian deadlift is strong like before. Also, maybe
sure.
Tom will be a little bit better. I don't know. No idea. Last time they was almost same level.
If
And
Tom comes in like he was at Worlds last year, he is without question a threat. The question I think for a lot of people is how much has he improved since the Arnolds? Because the Arnolds wasn't the best performance for him.
yeah, but I don't think he pushed really hard at the others too.
I think he very much focuses on World's Strongest Man, doesn't he? We've seen that the last 2 years now when he gets to Worlds. And I think the slower format of Worlds suits him as well.
Yeah, and I don't know why he put this performance, at the Arnold, but he can change really fast. Do you know this guy have the same genetic than Thor and Brian too? You
Yeah.
see how Thor came strong fast. Tom can do it also. And,
Yeah, I don't know if you watch any of their training videos. I watched the latest one and he's suddenly looking a lot better.
yeah, and we have to talk about Trey Mitchell, I think, also. Because
Absolutely.
Trey is a copy of Zydrunas almost.
Yeah.
With what he
That's what
put
he
on,
reminds me of.
but he have some weaknesses. It's just grip. Finally, the only weaknesses he have is grip, and maybe some carrying stuff because he don't have the best cardio. But he was huge in the Arnold. I don't believe it's 370 like they put on the streaming. I think it's more 400.
Yeah, he
But
looked massive.
he was really strong, and he have a chance also. But it's maybe not the heavier event this year. It was on
He'd probably suit heavier, but there's no grip events, so that will suit him.
yeah,
Stones are always good for him, especially in the
yeah,
heats
very
and
good.
the final. That's a big advantage for guys like Trey, who I think they've got a. Even if they don't win the group, they'll still feel confident they'll make the final.
Yeah, of course. But he's one of the most impressive guy, in if I talk about the Rogue Invitational, the Arnold, what he put, like his log performance was really solid. He was really good in dumbbell also, at the Rogue.
Yeah.
Then I think he can put big number this year for the max dumbbell events in World Strongest Man. I think he have chance
Are
also
you
to
looking
go.
forward to that event? Because we've never really. Have you ever done a max dumbbell in competition?
Yes, but in Canada, never in international. Yeah, my best is the Sear dumbbell. I have the exact replica, and I did in the record breaker in Canada. It was my best.
What weight
But
was that?
what?
What weight was that?
273. It's the same than this
Okay.
one at the Arnold. Exactly same replica. Uh, but I think you have many 300s. Brian is very good in max dumbbell. He's very good. I remember the Arnold Classic performance he put Novikov, also Mateus. But Mateus is not at his best shape. He's like 80% Mateus, Italy.
He's 80%, but he still came second at the Arnold's and won
Yeah,
3 events.
yeah.
He's still dangerous.
Always, it's always dangerous, It's just sad he gets so many injuries because in perfect shape, I think this guy is almost unbeatable. It's just about deadlift performance, but that's it.
Yeah.
It is really solid. It was. I was happy also to see him competing back. Matthias is a good friend to me, and see him injured for a long time. It's hard on the mental. And
It was nice
Matthias,
to see him finish a competition and be okay. And now he's got another competition to build towards. I think that was important just to get through a show without getting hurt.
yeah, I think more strongest man must be better for him than the Arnold. You have chance. I have chance to pose him all the time. That guy, but also I think sometimes he's a little bit afraid about injury again.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's also normal. I have this fear also right now.
Unfortunately, it happens when you've had a bad injury. It is in the back of your mind.
Yeah, then you think about that, but he will not give up. Just I see him competing in Dubai with a broken bicep and lifting stones just to win the contest, and I know he will not give up, and I hope he will put a very good result. And maybe after a few events, he will be less nervous also. You know, he's always very nervous, you know, about
I think if he made the final, he'd relax a bit more.
yeah.
I think that's going to be
He will
important.
make, you know, I'm sure. You know,
I don't know if you did, like me and Liz try and sit there and put together the groups and figure out what, you know, it'll be like. There's going to be some really tough groups this year.
yes.
There really is. Like, I think, you know, we talk about some of these heavy favorites, but I think potentially there's going to be big favorites that don't make the final.
Yeah, well, you know, I think few favorites will miss.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you remember 10, 15 years ago how it was. You have one really great guy, one good, and few guys from many countries not super experienced.
Sure.
But now every group is very packed.
Yeah.
Then you need to be lucky sometimes, also to go to do it.
You'll have been there before at Worlds where it looks like you've got a really tough group on paper, but sometimes it just doesn't end up that way. It ends up being easy, and other times it looks easier and it can be really hard.
Yeah, but it's always the same thing, you know. And you're listening people talking about that. Oh, they don't. This group is not good. You know, they put. Okay, I will give you a fucking paper and a sheet. Make the group.
It's so hard. We've done it.
You can say anything about any grouping. You know.
The fact is now
the guy have to do.
You have 30 athletes going to World's Strongest Man that are all good strongmen.
Yeah.
Which was a little different back then, I think. You know, there was maybe one or two guys in each group that you knew were going to be bottom two. Now, even the guys that aren't so good, they're really good at one event or two events, or you know, they're young and up and coming and can improve a lot in a short period of time. So nothing's guaranteed. And then you've got guys like Novikov and even Bobby Thompson, both amazing strongmen. But the Stones is a question mark if they're not winning the group. And there's a number of guys I put into that situation as well. Because Novikov, you'd expect to be top three in almost any competition. But I think for Novikov, it's a battle just to get to the final.
True.
And then
it's true, you know, because he have good chance to lose on stones many times.
Yeah.
Bobby is same. Bobby is his worst ever. He's not lucky about that. He have to win the group.
Yeah.
He have to win the group. Absolutely, if you want to reach the final. And the only time he reach the final is because he win the group also. But those guys in final can be top three.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's what I said. It's like Evan. Evan never make the final, but this guy win many international contests.
Yeah,
just because he was maybe unlucky a few times, you know. But I think this year he have his chance again.
Would you like to see a different format at World's Strongest Man, where they got rid of the groups?
My favorite format will be no groups.
Yeah. How many athletes?
Will be 25 athletes, 12 events, everybody together.
Nice. That would
be much better. It would be easier for me also to do it in the past, you know.
I think even if they had like a cutoff halfway through.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. You know, the same guy will win the thing at the end. The most important when you have a long lineup, if you're always good, it's easier to reach big point. You remember this contest we do in Canada in the Champions League?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was 12 events.
Yeah, that was a lot of events.
And we are on podium with Zydrunas at the end.
Yeah.
Why? Because we put result all time.
Yeah. And Zydrunas had one bad event.
Yeah, he came last under Hercules all
yeah, whereas you and me were steadily good all the way through.
It is the trick, you know. If you're always in good position at the end, you will finish higher. But now you make the final with 5 events, 6 events sometimes.
Why competitions in Canada are always so hard? You do so many events.
But you know, we did the Arnold in Warwick many times with 10 events in 2 days. It was, in my opinion, on the body, the hardest contest I ever made. Yeah.
I never competed there, but I've watched it a few times. It looked brutal.
Yeah. It was heavy. It was always warm in summer. Also, it's also the biggest difficulty, you know, than training in or competing inside an arena, example, in perfect condition. It was very, very hard, you know. And I think right now the look like that, very hard, and asking maybe more constancy is the shot classic.
Sure. Yeah.
It's why I like this format also, you know, more events than and if you have a bad one, you have more time to climb after, you know.
Absolutely.
It's,
That's always the worry at World's Strongest Man. You have that bad event, and because there's not many people in a group, you do start panicking, and you kind of can't afford that bad event.
yeah, and in the past it was hard also because if you have one guy injured or one guy came from almost nowhere from a country and is amateur level guy, he never skip points, you know,
Sure.
and nothing is mixing, then
Yeah.
sometimes you're fucked, you know. Then you have to finish first, second all the time.
Yeah.
If you
If you
want
have that one bad event, you could be like win the next events, but still not win the group.
no, true. It's true.
If someone's just second all the time, just right behind
It's
you.
interesting, but now, you know, with the battle, you have more chance because in the past we have stones, but it's just normal points. Then sometimes before the stones, two guys are qualified, you know.
Yeah.
And now sometimes you can maybe 10 points behind and battle the stones and win, and you go. You have one more chance, I would say.
We've seen it a few times now. We have. I think you were against Mark Felix one year, wasn't it? Where he was ahead of you, but you beat him on the stones.
Yeah, but I don't think it was be in front of me. I think it was third.
Okay.
In Philippines.
Yes.
You know, we have to battle on stones. I battled on stones many times. 2017, I beat with Matthias Belzak.
That was crazy. He did like 22 reps or something.
Yeah. And Matt, you know, that year they put like me, Brian, and Matthias in the same group. We were all finalists. Of course, Matthias finally lost at the end, but it was close battle. But Matthias was one of the best also. Then
Absolutely.
sometimes you're not just lucky. It's just what I mean. And few guys sometimes are lucky, but you know, it's like you said, you can talk about the paper, but every time when the contest start, it is different.
Yeah.
The group of finally is not super hard. Sometimes.
No, of course. And, you know, we've both competed at the top level. And I think that now I love talking about the build up to the competitions. When I was competing, I didn't want to see anything.
Yeah,
I didn't want to look online. I didn't want to hear what people had to say. I just wanted to keep my head down and focus on trying to train and do the best that I could do.
Yeah, no, it's same for me. The best thing it is like that. I remember 2014. We know the group when we arrive at the airport.
Yeah.
And the event,
yeah,
it is perfect. Then everybody know nothing. Everybody compete and do his best. That's it. And you really know who's the best at the end. Yeah, no stress before. You can think about. You have no idea because when you have the group, when you have the events, you make a competition in your head all the time. It is very stressful. But when you have no information, you just train and prepare. That's it.
Just train. Yeah, absolutely. Go there, do the best you can. Ignore me talking, you talking, whoever else, and just go do your best.
Yeah, but it's more funny to talk about and stay here at home and watching.
Definitely. Well, we got nothing better to do now.
Yeah.
Although I'm so glad that you're going to make a comeback.
Thanks.
Obviously, look after yourself between now and then. I know you've got a busy year ahead with promoting shows, doing an amazing job, building Strongman in Canada. You've really, you know, you're the reason there's so many great Canadian strongmen right now. And
maybe, yeah, but I hope, yes, I help for that, you know. But the guys are just better now, man. And I'm really proud of them, you know. Seeing 3 Canadians last year in final was big achievement for me, and I was not there, you know.
Yeah.
I was really happy.
Could have been 4. So it would be good to see you back at Worlds one last time. If you want to do it and you feel the body can hold out, then we'll be supporting you.
If the body holds, yes, I will try for sure. You know, just have this experience maybe one more time.
Yeah.
It's always fun to go there, but I will do the work and see what happens. You know, but I have no pressure now.
We'll compete together in December at OSG and give Zydrunas a run for his money. Make him work hard this year.
Yeah, it will be fun, you know, to see the old guys there. Rono will come. I just try to convince Christophe to come back, but it will be not easy.
He's lost a lot of weight, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's in great shape.
He looks amazing. Yeah, I don't know what his sprint strength like, but it would be good to see him. There's a few others as well that could do it. It could be a good strongman competition this year.
Yes, of course.
JF, take care, buddy. It's great to talk to you. I'm glad the recovery is going well, and we'll catch you soon.
Yes, thank you, Lars, for the invitation, and continue. Good job. I really like what you do on social media, promoting and commenting the stuff. It is very good to see you doing that.
Thank you, buddy. It's all I can do these days. I'm not good enough to compete with these younger guys anymore.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I hope you've enjoyed our chat with JF Caron. We'll catch you next time. Take care.